So now in the previous video I explained the first approach means, or you can say the first step in HR planning. So continuing from that point, the next step I will explain, and then third and the fourth. Okay, so as you can see on your screen, so in the last session I explained up to the first step of human resource planning, that is issues affecting human resource planning. So I explained how external and internal issues affect when we plan for human resource. So now continuing from that, here in this session I will explain the remaining part. So here the second step or the second approach given, determining future organizational capabilities. Okay, so steps or you can say approaching human resource planning. Here the second step, determining future. The first it was the what are the issues which affect okay, wait a minute, let me check it. Okay, now here in the previous I explained the factor or issues which affect human resource planning, that it was external and internal factors, or external or internal issues which affect human resource planning. In this, here we are going to discuss first determining future organizational capabilities. This is the second step or subject. So here as you can see on your screen, this is given determining future organizational capabilities. So how HR managers can determine the future organizational capabilities. So here given this involves, determining future organizational capabilities involves an analysis of future organizational or personal capabilities. It means analysis should be done of the organization, okay, of future organizational or personal capabilities. Capabilities include the skills level of skills level of employees, productivity rates, and the number of employees. So what we have to analyze? We have to analyze the skills level of employees, productivity rates, and number of employees. So by analyzing these things, we can determine the future organizational capabilities. So determining future capabilities meaning what the organization can do in the future, if okay, and that can be determined when we analyze skills of employees, productivity rates, and number of employees. Organizations have, you can see here I am talking. Okay, let me first of all select this. Yes. So now here I am. Organizations have begun to estimate their future productivity levels. Okay. Organizations estimate their future productivity levels. Toward this aim, benchmarking is a technique. Okay, if any organization wants to estimate their future productivity levels, then that organization will have to use the technique of benchmarking. Okay, and which involves comparing an organization's human resource practices and and programs to other organizations. So you see, it means benchmarking meaning is a technique. So what kind of technique this is? Hold on. Yes. What kind of technique this is? This is a technique where organizations' human resource practices are compared with the programs to other, or you can say human resource practices of the organization with the practices of other organizations. Okay, that is the second step, and the third step given, determining future organizational needs. So what are future organizational needs will be for the organization? So this includes, here you can see, this includes number of employees. So what number of employees will be required or needed, the types of skill that will be required, okay, means what kind of skills will be required, and what number of employees will be required. So um, this is about determining future organization. So what are different kinds of people and skills will be required, skills and people will be required. So two approaches to estimate human resource demand. So two approaches are given, first given here qualitative method and second given quantitative method. Okay, so the most common qualitative tool is the bottom up forecast. Okay, bottom up, and from the bottom we start. So what happens in bottom up forecast? Department managers make estimates of future human resource demands based on issues such as new position needed, positions to be estimated or not filled, expected changes in the workload by department, expected overtime hours to be worked by temporary employees. So these are the steps. Let's say here in case of bottom up forecast of qualitative tool, the departmental managers analyzes many things, just it's like demands based on issues. There are different kinds of issues may come, just like as new positions in what are different kinds of new positions will be required. New positions will be okay. New positions will, what are different kinds of new positions will be required, and expected change in the workload also at the departmental level. Here in this we are analyzing things from the departmental level, and then we move up in the ladder. Then the shortcomings of this method given, line managers may overestimate the demand in order to ensure that they don't find themselves understaffed. So here the line managers are estimating, so that's why it may be possible that for getting sufficient number of employees or staff, they will overestimate, so that they will not get any kind of difficulty in managing the work of the organization. So there is the possibility if it is from bottom up approach, if it is bottom up approach. The fourth step given, implementing human resource program to address anticipated problem. So implementing, now the first step, it was examining external and internal issues. Second step in human resource planning, it was determining future organizational capabilities. Third here given, determining future organizational need, means issues which affect human resource planning. Then capabilities of the organization, determining future organizational capabilities. Then the third given, determining future organizational needs. So what are different kind of things are needed for the organization in the future. And the fourth one, implementing human resource program to address anticipated problems. It means whatever problems the organizations are going to face, according to that certain programs will have to be implemented. So this is the fourth step. It means implementing human resource program to address anticipated problem. So in implementing a new human resource program, following basic steps are recommended to obtain employee acceptance. So implementing, whenever new human resource program is going to be implemented, then the following things should be considered so that employee will accept the new program. The first thing here, communicate need for the program. Okay, if employees do not know the need for the program, then they will not accept. That's why here written, Here written, many people believe the old saying, if it isn't broken, don't fix it. So it means you believe something, if there is nothing wrong, then why to find out the solution? Why to implement any kind of program if there is no issue? So that's why then it is imperative so explain. So that's why it is necessary and important to explain why the change is needed. Okay. Second thing given in implementing human resource planning, that is explain the program. So what are different kinds of programs are going to be implemented or are going to be used to explain those programs. So that's why he written, management must explain precisely what the program is, how it will be implemented, and what its effects will be on other practices and programs. Okay, even management must explain precisely what the program is, what so what kind of program is and how it will be implemented and what its effect will be. So these things should be explained to employees so that they will accept the program. Third, given explain what is expected of the employees. And whenever we plan anything, then particularly in case of human resource planning, then explain what is expected of the employees, what employees should do. So these things should be explained. So that's why I written management. A written management must discuss how the behavior of employees are expected to change as a result of new program system. Okay, it means employees should be aware, or employees should be made aware that behaviors are going to change, and those changes in behavior will uh, affect, or you can say that improve the organizational ability to do the job. Establish feedback mechanism. The fourth thing to establish or implementing human resource planning is establish feedback mechanism. No matter how carefully planned, that's why they are written. No matter how carefully planned and implemented, almost any new policy or practice is likely to lead to questions and problems. It is critical, therefore, for mechanisms to be established to resolve problems and answer concerns that arise. Such mechanisms may include a telephone hotline, ongoing surveys, and many dispute resolution policies would be there. Means in implementing or communicate the need for the program. Second, explain the program. Third, explain what is expected of the employees, and fourth one, there should be feedback mechanism. Now next one given, role of human resource planning professional, HRP professional. So what are different roles HR professionals have? The first role given, administrative role. So under administrative role, HR professional will have to manage the organizational resource, employees welfare activities, which means they should consider about welfare activities of employees. Under strategic, that is the second role, that is strategic role. Under strategic role, formulating HR strategies. So what are different kinds of HR strategies should be there? So those things are going to be formulated. And second, under strategic role given, managing relationships with managers. And third given, specialized role given, collecting and analyzing data, designing and applying forecasting systems, managing career development. These roles are neither necessary found in not sorry mistake. Here given role of HR professional. So a specialized role also I explained that collecting data, analyzing data, designing and applying forecasting systems, managing career development. These roles are neither necessarily found in every HRP work. Okay, it is not necessarily that all these things are going to be included, nor they are evaluated in time or location. They are not evaluated. There may be some part which is going to weight a little bit more as compared to other. Many combination of roles are possible with different purposes based on the circumstances of the organization. According to the circumstances of the organization, many different things need to be focused. Impact of human resource planning. Human resource planning itself is a process of determining human resources needs in the future and of monitoring responses to these needs. So that's why human resource planning links a company's business plan and broad objective with the specific program and other another HR human resource management activities. Right, it means planning human resource human resource planning links a company's business plan. So whatever the plan of the business the company has, that is going to be linked with the broad objectives and broad objective of the company. The business plan of the company and the broad objectives of the company are going to be linked with the specific program. So what are different kinds of programs the company has? Now next given impact of technology on human resource planning. So we all know that technology is advancing very fastly, so that's why many different kinds of technology we use in human resource planning also. So that's why here written you see advances in information technology has reduced effort required in impacting retrieval, processing and sharing of data. Means it is much easier to share, process and retrieve data because whatever data it is easily transferred from one place to another by using internet. We can convert the data from one form to another, that kind of thing. Here given accurate and timely information can be made available to different levels of management for decision making. All these changes in technology result in a change in occupational and skill profile of manpower. So you see, accurate and timely information can be made available to different levels of management. So due to improvement in technology, such things are nowadays possible. Manual content of skill trains to decrease for skilled workers and office staff. So you see manual content of the skill trains tends to manual content of the skill tends to decrease. So whatever manual work that is going to decrease, and that has already been decreased a lot. Uh, the skilled workers. So requirement of skilled workers now decreased. Office staff number of office staff required also decreased, but requirements for mathematical skills and ability to plan and anticipate the future situation tend to increase. So manual manual skills need decreased, and what happened? Mathematical and anticipation skills requirement increased. The methods, systems, and the style of management also need to change in line with the high skill demands on personnel. So, since the requirement, method, system, and style of management should also need to change in line with high skill demands on personnel. So, if high skill personnel are required or demanded, so the system, methods, and style of management of those highly skilled people or highly talented people should also change, because whatever method, systems and style of management are used for low skilled or high manual work, As manual work will not work for high mental work people. So those things also should be kept in mind. Barriers to HRP. I think this is the last. Yes, this is the last point. That what are different kinds of barriers to human resource planning? The major barriers of human resource planning are HR practitioners are perceived as experts in handling personal matters but are not experts in managing business. So that is the first issue. So personal matters related to human factors. HR practitioners are perceived as experts, but they are not thought of as business experts. So if people perceive them not capable of being managing the business, so they are less valued in the context of managing business. Next, second given, HR information. HR information often is incompatible with other information used in strategy formulation. So whatever information, HR information often is incompatible with other information used in strategy formulation. So how HR information is incompatible? Strategic planning efforts have a long been oriented towards financial forecasting, often to the exclusion of other type of information. Financial forecasting takes precedence over human resource planning. So now you see, it is often thought that human resource information is incompatible with other information used in strategy formulation. Generally, strategic planning efforts have long been oriented towards financial forecasting. Okay, businesses generally forecast the financial status of the organization in the future, and according to that, develop their mm, they develop their strategy. So third given, conflict may exist. So here conflict may exist between short-term and long-term HR needs. So short-term and long-term HR needs in a conflict with each other. How? Because it may be possible that in the short run, less number of people will be required, and the skill set required for the short term will be different as compared to the number of people required in the long run, or whatever set of skills required in the long run, it will be different as compared to the set of skill required in the short run. So there will be conflict. Fourth given, non-involvement of operating managers renders human resource planning ineffective. So here operating managers generally do not involve in human resource planning, so that's why that it become ineffective. At our human resource planning is not strictly an HR department function. Okay, this is not HR department function. It is thought like that. Successful planning needs a coordinated effort. So whatever planning, if that planning is to be successful, then for being successful, a coordinated effort on the part of operating managers and HR personnel is required. Coordinated efforts will be required on the part of operating managers and HR personnel or HR managers. Okay, I think this is the end of the second session of the first unit.